Hello, hello, hello. Title screen. We're being topical again. So topical you should bottle this show up and sell it as an ointment to rub on your body. Today we have a fresh card from Modern Horizons. Urza, Lord High Artificer. For 2 and 2 blue, you get a legendary 1/4 Urza the Mad Lad himself. When Urza enters, you get a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token that gets a +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap an artifact to add blue to your mana pool, but this gets around summoning sickness limitations on artifact creatures, because the effect is on Urza and not the artifact. And finally, you can pay 5 to shuffle your library, then exile the top card of it, until in the turn you can play that card for free. I know, this isn't jank, this is good, like really good, and these combos are gonna be expensive and good too. He's kind of making some cards spike, but I got to tailor to those lucky fools who pack this boy, and anyone who wants to drop the money on this. So let's get started. First off, Urza makes artifacts that care about being tapped really good, or better than they were. Cards like Winter Orb and Howling Mine have a universal effect when they're untapped, but don't when they're tapped. To explain this, we have to take a little history lesson. Way back when, artifacts only worked when they were untapped. When they were tapped, it was kinda like they were turned off, like a light switch. This was fine and dandy until about 1999 when Wizards was like, no. That doesn't really make sense, so just forget it. Except they made this rule hold true for a select few powerful cards, like the oppressive Winter Orb and the group hug Howling Mine, and all was well. Until 2019 when Urza returned and decided that he was going to claim what was his and make all of these artifacts one-sided. You want to lock your opponents out? Keep Winter Orb untapped and then tap it for mana before your turn to untap all your lands. You want to draw extra cards but not let your opponents? Tap your Howling Mine at the end of your turn for mana and tell them to eat shit. Urza is here, baby! Woo! So, Urza kind of facilitates everything. Let's start with endless enter the battlefield effects. Let's go to our battlefield. Here we are, our wonderful battlefield. We have Urza on the battlefield and he is soul bonded to Deadeye Navigator, a 5/5 creature that says when it or another creature enters the battlefield, you can pair or soul bond the two. Both of these creatures gain pay 1 and a blue to exile this creature and then return it to the battlefield under your control. We also have that 0/0 token that Urza created, which is actually a 1/1 because it counts itself when checking for artifacts. So we could tap that token for blue mana, and then pay 1 mana to blink Urza with a soul bond effect, making him re-enter the battlefield, making another token. That's not bad, make a token for 1 colorless, but if we add another card to this, we can make this better. Let's start with Panharmonicon, a fan favorite. Enter the battlefield effects double for us, meaning if we blink Urza with a soul bond effect, when he re-enters we actually get 2 tokens, which we can then tap for 2 blue mana to pay for the blink effect, allowing us to blink Urza again to make 2 more tokens, to repeat this process, etc, etc. You get endless tap tokens that are huge by the way, because of all the artifacts you just made, and endless enter the battlefield effects. You can achieve a similar effect with Genesis Chamber, a 2-cost artifact that says whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, its controller creates a 1/1 Mer artifact creature token, but only if Genesis Chamber is untapped. So we blink Urza with a soul bond effect, he re-enters, we get a 0/0 construct artifact token, but we also get a 1/1 Mer because Urza isn't a token. We can then tap our construct and our Mer tokens for 2 blue mana to blink Urza to repeat the process. Endless Mers, endless constructs, endless ETBs. Also, when you're done with your turn, you can tap the Genesis Chamber for mana to block your opponents from getting Mers if they play a creature. But what will you do with all these enter the battlefield effects? Do you really gotta ask? Play Altar of the Brood to make each opponent mill a card whenever a permanent enters the battlefield under your control. Or Grinding Station. You can sack one of your many artifact tokens you tapped for mana to make an opponent mill 3 cards, and then Grinding Station untaps when the next batch of artifact tokens come into play. Or if you're running red, you can play Impact Tremors or Perforos or Reckless Fireweaver. all of which ping our opponents whenever a creature or an artifact enters the battlefield under our control. But let's move on. You can also get endless mana with Urza and Deadeye Navigator. All you need is Ashnod's Altar or Krark Clan Ironworks. These cards allow you to sack a creature or artifact, respectively, for 2 colorless mana. All you got to do is get your 0/0 token, tap the token for blue mana, then sack the token to make 2 colorless mana. You can then blink Urza again with one of those colorless mana and the blue mana you have, and then you still have 1 colorless mana to spare. Repeat this process to build up your colorless mana bank. So Urza makes endless tokens, ETB effects, colorless mana. Let's gain infinite life. Thopter Foundry is an artifact that allows you to pay 1 and sack a non-token artifact to create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact token, and gain 1 life. Sword of the Meek is a 2-cost equipment that gives equipped creature +1/+2, and whenever a 1/1 creature comes into play under your control, you can return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to play attached to that creature. So here's a combo. Tap your sword for blue mana. Use that blue mana and sacrifice your sword to make a 1/1 Thopter with Thopter Foundry. You gain 1 life. Your 1/1 Thopter enters the battlefield and the sword, now in your graveyard, triggers and returns to the battlefield attached to your Thopter. You can now tap your sword for blue mana again, sack it again, make another Thopter and gain 1 life again, and your sword comes back again. This gives you as much life as you want and as many 1/1 flyers as you want. Okay. Last combo. Let's abuse Urza's last ability. All we need is 5 artifacts on the field, one of them being Paradox Engine. Paradox Engine says, whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. All we have to do is tap all 5 artifacts to get 5 blue mana, and activate Urza's ability to shuffle our library and exile the top card from it and play it for free. If you hit a non-land card, cast that card, and all your non-land permanents untap because of Paradox Engine. This allows you to do it again. The only downside to this is that if you hit a bunch of land cards in a row, you may get cut off if you run out of mana to activate Urza's ability, but let's be honest, if you're playing Urza, you probably have a deck full of artifacts. You're bound to hit a few of them, which gives you even more mana that allows you to try again if you whiff on a land. Once you eat through your whole deck, you'll probably have Lab Maniac or the new Jace out to make you win the game the next time you draw a card. And that is how Urza will ruin friendships. Are you going to make an Urza deck? He's kind of expensive right now. If you do, will you use any of the combos in it? Let me know down below. If you like these combos or any of my other combo videos, you should check them out. Or any other shit I do on this channel. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And as always, next time you're itching for a good combo, you can find me right back here, on the internet.